schedule tonight, huh?
Hopefully you move along fast.
You swear it in.
No, I didn't swear. We didn't swear. It looks good. That's for sure. How we doing, Don?
We're doing all right.
Hey, thanks for brewing up the cafe.
That's my job.
It's become your
Bi-weekly routine. Mainly because I like
Yeah. Keep us
it. The
running.
next time around, I'll really be there because it's
Oh, that I don't know.
But
Do you know if Daryl's got a birthday in April? No idea.
I ordered custard cream and banana cream pies.
Hey, sweet ski. That sounds like a lot of sugar.
Yep. Hey, and the other thing is, you know, we got the ladies basketball championship on TV tonight.
Oh, okay.
Starting right about now.
He threatened me with his.
We need to
We need to hurt. I figured
Did
you'd
you
go
watch
out
the
there.
game?
Oh, no.
Sharply mine.
I don't watch sports much.
You know, I lived in Connecticut for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
So UConn was playing last night. They won, so they're the champion for the men's. Now tonight the women are playing against Notre Dame. UConn.
Oh, okay.
So if they win, be both men and women in the championships.
That'd be sweet.
That would be unheard of.
Does it run? Does that change the uniqueness of it? So what's the advantage of an alternator over a generator?
Generated with zero oxygen. I don't know. The old cars, you used to see them go from red light to stop. Cars and all that.
No. That kind of stuff is getting serious.
Uh-oh, you got more paperwork for me? I thought I was done reading.
Daryl came with us in my classroom today.
Wow. I could get myself hurt with that thing. Black eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Nibs.
All right. You guys ready to fire up?
We're ready whenever you are, sir.
Okay. Would you be okay with doing the prayer tonight? Okay. Yeah, you look pretty much presentable. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fire up.
Fire up.
Make sure your microphones are on. Okay.
Your microphone on?
You guys all set? We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise and remove your hats for the invocation. Mr. Best.
Our Father who art in heaven, we humbly bow our heads at the start of this council meeting. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to serve. We're thankful for our citizens who come and support us. We're thankful for our men and women in the armed forces that give us this privilege that we have to go ahead and conduct our town in a manner in accordance to what our government permits us, to have free speech, to go ahead and have the right to govern ourselves. We ask thee to watch over those that are on this council, that they would go ahead and regain their strength, that they would be able to attend to responsibilities. We would ask them to go ahead and discern all the issues that we have, that we would go ahead and do things that are in the best interest of our town. We'd ask for these favors and blessings in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. May we have the roll call?
Yes, you may. Good evening, Mayor, and Vice Mayor, and Council. Councilmember McKee. Here. Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Wojcik.
Here.
Councilmember Hatch.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Croft.
Here.
Mayor Marley.
Here. Introductions, presentations, and proclamations. First of all, we have a proclamation declaring April 9th, 2014 as Arizona Gives Day, sponsored by the West Yavapai Guidance Clinic Foundation. Do we have a representative from the West Yavapai Guidance Clinic? We have two representatives.
We have two.
All right. If you would, step up the microphone, that way the folks at home can see you also.
Sure. I'm Tina Blake with the West Yavapai Guidance Clinic Foundation, and this is my colleague in the nonprofit industry, Ashley Maines from Prescott College. And we are so happy to be here today to share with you about Arizona Gives Day. It's the second year that Arizona Gives Day is happening. There's over 100 nonprofits in Yavapai County that participate, and there's over 800 in the state. Last year, we raised over $1 million, and we're looking to hopefully raise that kind of money again. A lot of our organizations have matching donations, so it can really make a big difference. I'm leaving some materials for you to look at, and hope that you'll check out our website and find some nonprofits and support some local nonprofits. The nonprofit sector just in Arizona is the 6th largest money producer for Arizona, and it employs over 177,000 jobs.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I just want to let you know that Arizona Gives Day is an online giving campaign. It's 24 hours, so it starts at 12 a.m. tomorrow. And you have until 11:59 to make your gift. And if you go to azgives.org, you can search for by zip code, or you can search by topic and find a cause that you really believe in to support on Arizona Gives Day.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Do you have the microphone, Miss Lewis? Whereas a joint effort must be made to leverage the collective energy of our $24 billion nonprofit community to build sound relationships with new donors and increase the engagement of individuals with the Chino Valley nonprofit community, expand the capacity of Chino Valley nonprofits to incorporate the fastest growing source of individual investors, increase online giving, relieve pressure on institutional investors, foundations, and corporations to be funders of first choice for so many nonprofits, generate media messages which help educate the wider public about the value and contributions of community impact missions in our state, and whereas a pathway for community nonprofits to share their stories and connect with individuals throughout Chino Valley is a valuable asset to our community, and whereas every individual in Chino Valley should be contributing to support nonprofit organizations, and whereas contributions made to Chino Valley nonprofits help to rally volunteers, change lives, build leaders, allow citizens to build networks, fight for rights, and champion community causes, and whereas the town of Chino Valley nonprofits impact us all. Now, therefore, I, Chris Marley, Mayor of the town of Chino Valley, do hereby proclaim April 9th, 2014 as Arizona Gives Day in Chino Valley, Arizona, and urge all of our citizens to recognize this observance. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next, we have a presentation by Scott Freitag, Fire Chief of the Chino Valley Fire District, regarding current fire district activities and partnerships with the town.
Honorable Mayor, council members, members of the audience, I appreciate this opportunity. When I started here 7 months ago, I came and introduced myself to the council and said that I felt it was very important for the fire district to have an ongoing and robust partnership with the town of Chino Valley. And to that end, we've been working very closely together in a number of areas. The first thing that I'd like to talk about tonight, though, is the current financial status of the fire district. We are in our budget development period, as are most other governmental agencies right now. This year, we were 2.44% decrease in assessments again, which is unfortunate. Over the last 5 years, we've lost approximately $70 million worth of assessed valuation. So it's a significant hit, but fortunately, my predecessor, Fire Chief John Ginn, did a great job during his tenure in forecasting what he thought was going to be a downturn and putting some money aside so that we could weather the storm. So as we work to balance this year's budget, we are currently, our tax rate is less than the cap within the state of Arizona. We have no intentions of increasing that tax rate this year. We are going to balance the budget through a series of pay cuts, or not pay cuts, but pay freezes and spending cuts, as well as utilizing some of the reserves. That way we don't put any more burden on the taxpayers and we continue to provide the same service we've always provided. We're very excited. Obviously, the fire district, we derive our revenue based on assessments and growth within the town of Chino Valley. So we're very excited about your discussions on the potential new infrastructure, the obtaining of the Prescott water system. Those are all positive things that would have a direct impact not only on the town and the school district, but also the fire district. And we very much like the new artwork you have around the room for your planning sessions. It's very nice, and we appreciate those efforts. And anything that we can do to assist you, we stand ready to do that. Part of that, just to bring you up to speed on Station 64, sitting next door to you, that's an empty building, and we had talked to the town about a number of uses for it. There's a business currently that resides in the town of Chino Valley that is losing their lease on their current building. And so we are working with them to either lease or purchase the building next door so that we can help keep a business in the town of Chino Valley so that that sales tax revenue stays here. And
Excellent.
that's our intent and goal with that Station 64 property. We work very closely with your building department, and I would just like to compliment Dan Trout and Ron Gritman on the partnership that we've developed. Those are the two individuals I've worked most closely with on the building side of things, but they've done a great job working with us. Unfortunately, our fire marshal took a different position out of state, so we're currently working with the Central Yavapai Fire District to fill that slot through an intergovernmental agency agreement. We're hoping to have that done in the next couple of weeks. As soon as we do, one of the first priorities will be setting up a meet and greet meeting between the person that will come out from Central Yavapai to assist the Chino Valley Fire District and the town of Chino Valley, so we can build those relationships at the ground level from the start. And we think that's very important. The person that Central Yavapai is looking to send our way to assist us is very good politically, very good at communicating, and understands the importance of helping businesses develop in the community and not being a blockade to that. So that will continue on the fire district's part, working with you. In that regard, we are working, I'm sure you've heard about the joint management agreement we're working on with Central Yavapai Fire District. The idea behind that is that we have two local governmental agencies, fire service agencies, that do the same job, and we share borders. We have to accomplish the same things. Both of us are short on the administrative staff side, as you've witnessed through the cuts you've had to make in the town. What we've looked at, and the model that we're moving towards, is we're going to share administrative staff. There'll be one fire chief. Chino Valley Fire District does not have a human resources director. Central Yavapai does. But they're short people to assist her. We have an assistant human resources director. So if you put the two together, we can be a lot more efficient. So what we're looking at long-term through the joint management agreement is really efficiency and capacity with the potential to save dollars down the road, likely budget neutral for the most part right now. But if I had to add in all the people that I actually need, I couldn't afford them. So this works out well for both sides. I think it's a very positive move. It's a new way to look at government efficiency. I know those two terms are not normally synonymous, but that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish through this agreement with the two organizations. So we're very excited about that. Where we're at this point is that it's in the hands of the attorneys to draft some language for the boards to look at. We hope to have that to them by May. Our tentative goal date is to have agreements signed by July 1 to coincide with the fiscal year, to get everything off the ground and running by then. It's a tiered process, so we start with, okay, we can do these functions now. If we get these in place, a year from now, we think we can work towards adding this piece in and then that piece in. So we build as we go to make it better, and again, to increase efficiency and capacity along the way, which ultimately provides a better service not only to our internal customers, our firefighters, but to the taxpayers in all the communities that we serve.
Excellent.
So again, brief, but I hope this kind of gives you some insight as to where the fire district is right now. We stand ready to assist the town in any way that we possibly can. We're a resource for you, and we look forward to being that resource.
Thank you.
Thank
Were there
you.
any questions for the fire chief? Any questions? All right. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
All right. The next item on our agenda is call to the public. A call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council concerning a subject that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak to call to the public? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. My name is Michael Edmonds. I'm a resident of Chino Valley. Several months ago, we approved the extension of Road 4 South. If my memory serves me correctly, it was to be done in 2 phases, approximately $216,000 per phase. My question to the town is if you could please provide the total cost to date for all the equipment and any items rented, total cost to date for the fuel consumed, number of man-hours, total cost of all subcontractors, total cost of materials used, please list the materials used, total cost to move the power lines, who did the inspections, and if you could supply copies for the inspections, and the total cost of the project to date, and if possible, an expected completion date.
Okay. I believe Mr. Gritman is going to be doing a presentation later on. Is that correct? Next week. Okay. Oh, next meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else for call to the public? Okay. Call to the public is now closed. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials addressed matters raised during call to the public at a previous meeting. We only had one person speak to call to the public at our last meeting. An individual asked about possible town plans to annex areas west of Reed Road, and there have been no discussions, to my knowledge, no discussions have taken place in that we're still dealing with some of our pre-annexation agreements from when we were annexing before. And so as soon as those gifts quit giving, maybe we'll look at annexing some more. Not for right now. And I did receive a letter from someone outside of the town limits asking to please not annex them. So I'm sure they'll be happy. Current event summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events or ask a staff member to provide the same. Presentation on information requested by the mayor and council will be made and questions answered. No action will be taken. Do we have any reports on this side? Yes, ma'am.
Just a brief report on the Magistrate Evaluation Committee. We've accumulated all of the evaluations, and the committee will be meeting in about 3 weeks to go over them, and then we'll bring them back to the council in an executive session to review them.
Excellent. Any others on this side? No. Any on this side? Does our town manager have a report?
Just a couple of brief words, Mayor. We've had good departmental meetings with the budget. We are bringing a balanced budget forward for council's review. It will have in it an unfunded capital improvement program to begin to give council an idea of what those things are that the town should be budgeting and funding. I do want to remark again that the new revenue policy that council adopted will be fully funded with this new budget. That's an impressive thing for an administration to be able to pull off in 1 year. Negotiations with Prescott as well as Fan Contracting are on target to bring council drafts for their consideration in June. We will begin pre-draft soon. We're all on the same sheets, I think. And then I wanted to let council know that the Cortez applications for rezoning and permitting are in process. They're moving forward in a positive manner. And we do have additional revisions to the UDO that we'll be bringing to council soon. Those hit P&Z last week.
Okay, thank you. The mayor's report, well, before I do our mayor's report, I wanted to thank our town staff for taking care of the the memorial bench, the firefighters' memorial bench that's out at the park. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty neat. The plaque is beautiful, and the seat itself looks like about probably 4-inch thick sandstone, and then the pillars are about 8-inch thick, and so it's a beautiful, sturdy bench, and just a work of art. Anyway, thank you. Mayor's report on Chino Valley road repairs. One of our local businessmen contacted me the other day with some questions regarding the condition of our roads here in Chino Valley, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring the rest of our community up to speed on the subject of street repair. As most of our citizens know, funding for road and street repair comes largely from highway user revenue funds, commonly referred to as HERF funds, which come from vehicle license fees as well as gasoline and diesel taxes. The funds are then distributed to each city and town according to population. Unfortunately, during the last few years, the Arizona state government, in order to balance their budget, has taken money out of that fund, with local governments losing right at $1 billion of road repair funds over the last 10 years. Since the usage of those funds had to be somehow related to the highway system, the money was placed into the budget for the Department of Public Safety. Now, anyone who travels our streets and highways has probably noticed the plethora of brand new blue and white SUVs with the Department of Public Safety insignia on the side. Since one of those SUVs fully equipped costs around $47,000 and a mile of chip-sealed road costs about $100,000, a quick calculation shows that 2 SUVs are roughly the equivalent of a freshly paved mile of road in Chino. The money would go even further if used to prevent the deterioration of our existing streets. Now, a wry observer would probably note that the loss of HERF funds is actually a boon for Chino Valley citizens, since rougher streets mean slower speeds mean less tickets, and less tickets mean lower insurance costs for the average driver. I suppose when we look at it in that light, it really is a win-win situation. All that aside, it looks like our state government will hopefully reduce the amount that it will be taking from our HERF funds this year, so there's a chance that the years to come we'll see some desperately needed repairs to our streets. That will make life easier for all of our citizens. Chris Marley, Mayor of Chino Valley. And just as a postscript to that, we've been receiving constant updates on the budget wars that are going on down in Phoenix between our legislators and our governor, and hopefully at the end of the day we'll come out with some funds to repair our streets because, as I pointed out, they're desperately needed. Bless you. All right, consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any of them? Okay. Ms. Hart or Ms. Lewis, whichever one would like to read our consent agenda items.
I guess I'll do it. Item 6A is consideration and possible action to approve the March 5, 2014 study session minutes. B, consideration and possible action to approve the March 11, 2014 regular meeting minutes. And C, consideration and possible action to approve the March 25, 2014 regular meeting minutes. D, consideration and possible action to accept the declaration of right-of-way by the town of Chino Valley for the creation of public right-of-way along the alignment of Jerome Junction Road.
The chair would now entertain a motion.
Motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
Second it.
Second.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Once again, we'll note we don't have an executive session on item 7. Moving on to item 8, action items. Item A, consideration and possible action to appoint new members to fill vacancies in the State Route 89 Utility Project Citizen Committee. If you would please turn to page 41 in your packets, and you'll notice that the recommended action is that of appointing new members to fill the vacancies. If you turn the page over to page 42 and 43, you'll see the situation and analysis. We only have 3 remaining members in the area that are from our original committee, Bud Haanen, Kerry Bloom, and Gary Warren. And I spoke with Mr. Haanen this afternoon, and he said he would still be willing to serve. And I believe our town manager has indicated that Kerry Bloom and Gary Warren have indicated they would be willing to serve. Those are 3 out of the 7 available spots, and since we have 5 of our council members who have not placed representatives on the committee, I would suggest to our council for their consideration that all 5 remaining members, excluding Vice Mayor Croft and myself, that all 5 of them pick members and 1 of them be an alternate, and the 4, that would give us 4 to serve and 1 as an alternate. How we pick out who gets the alternate is up to you folks. Would anybody like to volunteer to pick the alternate? Fine.
We could arm wrestle.
We could arm wrestle for it, all right. We have, first, I guess the first order of business would be to review the committee's charter on page 44 of 49. You can see the original committee charter, and if everyone is okay with going forward with the same charter, as I said, we had this utility project citizen committee last year. Yes, ma'am.
Chino Valley citizens requires that they live within the city of Chino Valley.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that all of the remaining members of that committee, Kerry Bloom and our chair of the committee, that they live in the city and are citizens of the city.
Okay. Like I said, if our first item is the approval of the charter, if anyone would like to modify that part of the charter, we could before we even go forward on our pick. Like I said, that's our first order of business.
Since it's a
is the
tax
charter.
on the community potentially involved, I think it should be the citizens that look at it.
Okay. And any council discussion?
Carrie Bloom does not live in the city limits.
Okay.
She does have a business in the city limits.
Okay.
But she's not a voting member of the community, right?
She is not a voting community.
Not a voting member of the community.
No.
So first thing is the charter itself, as I brought up before. The membership line item, as Ms. Hatch pointed out, Chino Valley citizens appointed by the council. What would be the council's pleasure insofar as citizens only? Any discussion?
Well,
Yes,
myself,
sir.
I have no problem at all with Carrie being involved in this. She's a longtime resident of the community, a longtime business member, and very, very involved in the community in a lot of different ways. So I think that her knowledge that she brings to the table is a benefit.
Okay, if that, excuse me for just a second, if that be the case, it would be citizens and business owners or something like that. Would that be your suggestion?
That would be fine, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am, you had a...
I think she was first, so I think it's you, John.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe since it is an impact on the townspeople of Chino Valley, the residents who live here, that it's not right for somebody who lives outside of our town, even though they have a business here, to be recommending something with a financial effect on our citizens that does not affect them.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
I think business owners will probably be impacted financially also by any decision made here, so I think it covers both ways.
Okay.
Not only the citizens, but the business.
All right. We've heard from 4 of our council members. Mr. Best, did you have something?
Well, in relation to Carrie Bloom, her influence by the people that she serves in our community, I think she would be able to go ahead and bring their opinions to the committee. And it's just a recommendation. We still have the final vote. It's just what they would come up with.
All right, and that's a good point. This is a committee that simply brings to the council a recommendation on whether to go forward, excuse me, with the general obligation bond or not. Mr. Wojcik, did you have anything to add, or?
Truthfully, I'm kind of on the fence. I have feelings in both directions.
Okay, thank you. And I'm the same way. I think a business person receives the great impact from this, and yet I can understand that at the end of the day, it's our citizens that have that ongoing, well, if it's a business owner that's in the area affected, they will be paying on that also. I need to defer to our town's attorney at this moment. Ma'am, since we don't have a vote scheduled for item 2, I guess, membership, insofar as the charter, can we poll the council, or how can we move forward on this?
Well, Mayor, I'm looking at the agenda item, and the agenda item is to consider possible action to appoint new members. So
This is the charter.
if these are current members, then you're not appointing the current members, and there is no mention of amending the charter on
Okay.
the agenda. So I don't think that the open meeting law would really allow you to
Okay.
touch the charter or the new member, the current members.
Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you. Okay, the appointment of new members, since we have, as I said, 5 council members who do not have a representative on this committee, and we need 4 more members for the committee. Does anyone have any suggestions or volunteer to pick the alternate? Yes, ma'am.
You know, I nominated Paul. Paul's a neighbor of mine. I know Mr. Grimmon recommended him, but Paul has gone off. I've had a request, and I'm going to honor the request of the citizen who requested that I appoint him, and that would be Robert McCauley.
Yes, ma'am, thank you, but first we need to figure out if who's going to pick the alternate.
Okay, I don't want to pick the alternate.
Have the committee pick the alternate.
They pick the chair, and they should pick the alternate too.
That's wonderful delegation at its highest. Okay. Our council will this evening then pick 5 potential committee members. Ms. Hatch has already named that she has picked one, and what was the one that you had listed,
Robert
Ms.
McCauley.
Hatch?
Robert McCauley.
Okay. Ms. McKee, do you have one?
Michael Edmonds.
Okay. Councilman Turner, do you have one?
Dave Mazie.
Okay. Councilman Best, do you have
I
one?
would like to recommend Tom Payne.
Okay.
He doesn't live in the town either.
He's a business
Yeah, well, you
person.
can't,
All right, we
this
didn't
is a
change
new
nothing.
appointment.
Okay.
All right, I'd like you to read a reservation to find an appointment.
Okay,
appointee.
okay. Mike Best will give us his appointee later. Mr. Wojcik.
He's not here tonight, but I had a conversation with him the other day, and he's interested. His name is Lee Donnelly, the owner of the
Dudley.
I'm sorry, the Bright Star Mini Warehouse up there.
Okay. Lee Dudley. Okay. Excellent. We have some folks available now to serve on that committee. And just for our audience's benefit, this committee will be looking at quite a bit of material insofar as the feasibility of the possibility of purchasing the part of the floating a bond to purchase the Prescott water system that's in our town, to purchase the wastewater treatment plant, and to put sewer and water down part of Highway 89. I believe it's from 2 north to 3 north. And, and I did not mention the purchase of the Wilhoit Water Company, which is a small water company with 100 customers behind the Bonfire Restaurant back in that area. And depending on the recommendation that this committee brings back, the town council will then be either moving forward or canceling the project of a possible general obligation bond. And we, in our study session on April 3rd, we looked at the possibility of a revenue bond to purchase these items. The revenue bond would affect only those who are on the water and sewer system, both presently and if we purchase the 2 water systems from Prescott Water and Wilhoit. And the revenue bond would only affect those on those systems. A general obligation bond would affect the entire town. And I believe the recommendation they will be bringing back will be to either go forward with a GO bond, general obligation, which will affect the entire town, or to not go forward with it. All right. Town manager, did you have anything to add to that? I believe I covered the salient points.
No, that was perfect.
Okay, thank you.
I think Dave had his hand up there.
Yes, sir, if you would. This is, we usually have discussion and then go to, but please make it brief if you would.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Dave Macy. I would, because I'm a resident of the county, even though I'm a business owner in this community for longer than most of the members of the council have been in this community, I must respectfully and reluctantly remove my name for consideration until such time the council can change that status of residents only.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mazy. Mr. Turner and Mr. Best will hopefully provide us with some names later on. And we will continue to move forward. This is, time is going to be of the essence on this, and if we are going to have a bond issue go forward and be on the ballot in the fall, our bond committee will have to come back with a recommendation pretty much before the first meeting in May. So it's going to be a tight time schedule. The first meeting in May will allow us one extra meeting to discuss it before we vote on it. If it comes before us the second meeting in May, we have their recommendation, and then we have to act that evening, and I would prefer that we don't do that. Yes, ma'am?
I guess I'd ask the attorney if we have to act. We can always add members later on, but as long as there's a quorum, they can proceed forward until we add the other members.
Yeah, I believe since our council members, 2 of our council members already have, they have their slots open. I'm assuming this week you can have someone added in, correct?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Do we have to wait for another meeting to do this? Can we go ahead and basically get the ball rolling? And
I believe
have a
we can
couple
go ahead and
people
get the
jump
ball rolling and then have your 2 appointees added in, okay? Because tonight our next item of business is to basically provide the charge to this committee. And depending on what they come back with, we'll determine some things about the future of Chino Valley. All right.
Need a motion?
We need a motion. Hang on for a second. I had my list of names back here. I need a motion to accept these nominees, Robert McCauley, Michael Edmonds, Lee Dudley, and 2 other appointees, which will be citizens of the town of Chino Valley, which will be appointed later by Councilman Turner and Best.
Motion to appoint those citizens, the mayor read their name, and the other appointees from Councilman Turner and Councilman Best.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yes,
Question?
ma'am.
Will they at least come back so we can make official notice, make sure that they're on the agenda so we can officially appoint the named people?
Oh, I would have to defer to our attorney. If we've already defined the parameters, could we simply read the names at our next meeting? We are moving forward on this.
That's
Okay,
acceptable to me.
okay.
I just think the public should know.
You bet. Yeah, according to Robert's Rules of Order, once we've had the vote, we can't talk about it anymore, but we sort of bend Robert's rules now and then, so.
But the motion said to go ahead and accept those that are.
Yeah, to go and accept, so, all right. All in favor? Did we said it already?
We did that.
We did that,
We're
yeah.
good,
Rock
Mayor.
and roll.
We're just rocking.
Item B, consideration and possible action to direct the State Route 89 Utility Project Citizen Committee to review, comment on, and provide council with a recommendation on a proposal for issuance of a general obligation or GO bond for water and sewer infrastructure improvements, subject to approval by the Chino Valley voters. Mr. Gritman, did you have anything to add to this? Any presentation for this?
No, excuse me, as a matter of fact, when I was asked to provide the situation analysis, I thought it was going to go under item A. I didn't know we created 2 separate items.
Oh, okay.
They should have been, they're all the same thing.
All right, yes, we had to appoint folks, and now I believe we give them their charge. And like I said, pretty much the first meeting in May is our drop dead date. We need a recommendation before that, if at all possible.
When are they going to start reporting, when are they going to start reporting back to council, or are we going to wait for a final report, or we get an update periodically?
Mr. Smith, did you have any recommendations on that, on the reporting dates for our, they first of all, they have to elect their chairman and their alternate, and then they'll start meeting.
I think they ought to be able to report to council at your next regular meeting, but then the following regular meeting of council would be when they would be tasked with providing a recommendation to you.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I suppose there might be a way that I could get reports from them and send them to you directly. And that way you could be updated on their progress.
Okay, and then if we could have some type of a formal progress report at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
But if you have updates before then, please send them to the entire council.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
You know, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. We have this committee, but we have no schedule to meet. We have nothing. We'll just throw the committee out there and let them fend for themselves, so.
Yes, sir. Understood. Last committee, we had Mr. Wojcik on it, and we should put him back on there. But
Well, he wasn't a council member.
Anyway,
Yeah.
who will be our contact person for this committee? Mr. Smith, did you have
I
someone?
can be the organizational, the administrative
Okay.
point of
Okay.
contact.
Okay, good.
Please get them pointed in the right direction. And I believe from the staff report, you were going to be getting the information for them from our consultant on what the costs were, correct?
Yes, sir. We actually are going to have the consultant come present to them. So there'll be, I think, one meeting that'll focus on history, where we've been and what we've accomplished to date, and then a presentation from the consultants to catch them up to speed with where council is right now.
Okay.
Robert, would you get a schedule out to us so we'll know when they're going to meet, please?
Yes, sir. As soon as I can get together with them, I will.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Well, at least you now have, you have enough to form up a quorum, Mr. Smith. I believe Yeah, recommended action is to direct the State Route Utility Project Citizen Committee to review and comment on and provide counsel. The chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to direct the SR 89 Utility Project Citizens Committee to review, comment on, and provide counsel with a recommendation on proposal for the town to issue a general obligation bond for water and sewer infrastructure improvements, subject to approval to the Chino Valley voters.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, consideration and possible action to schedule and discuss the process for the town manager's annual performance review. As my vice mayor pointed out the other day, we need to do a review for our town manager. And this particular action item, you'll find on page 47 of 49. You'll find on page 48 and 49 the management performance appraisal form, which we used last time for Mr. Smith. You folks, I'm sure, have had plenty of time to look the form over. Are the performance factors acceptable to everyone that are on
Probably
there?
need to hand out the new form, it's a little different.
The new form is a little different, as in the new form which our clerks gave us this evening. All right.
Have they given you them?
Did you ladies pass out the new forms already? Okay. All right.
You can't take mine, come on.
You can't take your,
Go ahead.
all right, thank you.
That's what the loose sheets we have.
I will briefly run down these performance factors. The first one is job knowledge. The second one is work product. The third item is planning. The fourth item is communications. The fifth item is team building. The sixth item is leadership. The seventh item is customer service. The eighth item is manager/town council interactions. The ninth item is financial management. The 10th item is economic development. The 11th item is staffing. And the 12th time is personal and time management. Are these, for the council, are these performance factors acceptable? I believe they pretty much cover everything that we as a council would be expecting out of our town manager. Does anybody have any comment on those? Okay. It's pretty comprehensive. I believe if we have anything that goes outside of that, we can verbally visit with our town manager on, but I believe these performance factors give us a pretty good set. Yes, sir.
Are we gonna fill these forms out and turn them in, or are we gonna do it like you did last year? Publicly in front of?
Well, that's up to our town manager whether he wants a review in front of the public or whether he wants it in executive session. But I was going to ask 3 questions of our council tonight. The first one is, are these performance factors acceptable? My second question was going to be input. Do we need input from staff, employees, or public, or do we just do our own input? And then the third question, let me finish here. And then the third question would be dealing with our time frame. So those were the 3 things I was going to put before council. Yes, ma'am, you had something?
I think if you want to ask the public, that's up to the individual council member. This is our evaluation. And if the public wishes to talk with a particular council member, that's the way it should be handled.
You bet. And I believe that we've been on council long enough that we have interacted with the public. We've gotten feedback on either way. First and foremost, I take it that the performance factors are acceptable to everyone. Secondly, input. I had 3 areas: staff, employees, or public. I'm good with just us council members. We get our own input from staff, from employees, or public. Is that tolerable with
Yes.
everyone? Okay. That's a yes. That's a yes. And the third one is our time frame. We have 2 weeks till our next council meeting, which is April 22nd. I think most of us, since we interact with our town manager on probably a weekly basis, if not oftener, most of us are probably on our game as far as an appraisal would be concerned. Would anyone need longer time? Nope, okay.
Which means,
I would
What's
like a
the-
little longer, yeah.
What's the lead time for the tar and feathers?
The tar and feathers, we have to order the
Right,
feathers.
so can we get them
Okay.
within 2 weeks?
I've got the tar.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Chris?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
we going to address the goals?
We will,
Because I would like to comment on one of those.
yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, here I sort of stole Vice Mayor Croft's thunder. He had some goals that he wanted to
Those
to
goals came
address.
from last year's
Okay.
agreement.
Yeah, these are the ones that we had given him last year, but yes, ma'am, what
Yeah, if
question?
we're evaluating, then these are the goals we're going to use.
Right.
Those are the goals that he was given
For
last year.
for
That's
this-
what we
For
should
this
do.
period, yeah.
But as we do the evaluation, are we also going to give him new goals or
That's the next
not?
piece of paper that's coming around to you.
Okay, excellent. Matter of fact, I had two of my 3 questions answered. The one was the performance factors. The second one was input. Who do we receive input from? And the third question was our time frame. And I guess we can hold off on that till Mr. Croft, till you talk to us about the upcoming. All right, I'll hand it over to Mr. Croft.
Mr. Mayor, just a question.
You get to answer.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. Last year, the evaluation was before I was elected and seated. And I really thought it was an awful long, drawn-out affair, the way it was done in public.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make that comment.
Should clear-
And I would second that. It was a long, drawn-out affair.
However, it is the.
Yes, ma'am.
It is the employee's choice. We
Yes.
have a legal obligation to, may I? To notify him that we're considering his evaluation, and if he wants it public, he's entitled to have it public.
I understand that, I'm just commenting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
you bet.
Okay.
The actual process itself was fairly lengthy. So, yes, sir.
Have you handed out that other piece of paper? Okay, good.
I don't have it.
I don't have it.
no, don't attach, it's separate.
Oh, okay, got
Separate
it.
piece of paper. Those are some issues, there's 10 of them there that could be used for the town manager's goals for this coming, the new period. Or if you have some other ones, we need to select the 5 most important out of there. Or if you have some to add, you can add those on them. Yes, question?
Are we allowed to suggest an amendment?
Sure. Go ahead.
I
Why
was-
don't- What I'd like to do is you go through the process, then hand them in.
Go
If
through
you
each
have any
one.
changes or amendments or additions, then we'll need to get together and discuss them as a group.
I just, like, for instance, number 2, develop an agreement, I would say financially feasible agreement.
That's great. I
Yeah.
think those are great. That's why we handed them out. So if you mull them around and see what you'd like to add or change, additions, then,
So we have some time on this.
yeah, you have some time.
Okay.
Maybe next meeting, and maybe we can spend some time with this next meeting,
Okay.
next council meeting.
Okay, we can put it on our agenda for the next meeting. We'll go over our town manager's goals, proposed goals, and we can mull those over and get them finalized and have them chosen.
Yeah.
Correct? All right. Okay. Any further discussion on this item? 2 weeks from now, would it be okay to expect our performance appraisal of his last year? And we can go ahead and put that together at our next meeting. And we will also look at town manager goals for the 2014 to 2015 performance appraisal period for the year coming. Yes, ma'am.
If he doesn't ask for it publicly, how will we handle it? Does it go to one person, or do we go into executive, or how are we going to do it if he doesn't ask for a public? I don't understand what we'll be doing.
Or still just be a study session item.
Do a study session? All right, hang on for a second. Yes, ma'am.
What you did last year was set it for an executive session, and that's where the law requires you, if you set an employee evaluation or you're considering salary dismissal, promotion, all of those kind of hiring decisions, employment decisions, if you plan to do that in executive session, that's where you have to give him 24-hour notice, and he has the ability to request that it be done in public. If you don't set it for an executive session, then you don't have to do that. But
Then it's
normally,
public
you want to
anyway.
do it in an executive session.
Yeah, let's do it.
I suggest executive session.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that tolerable with you, Mr. Smith? We're going to
Well,
put
it's
it
our
down as-
choice, and then he has.
You have to
But
give
let
him
me ask
notice
him.
You just have to give him
regardless. He doesn't have to voice his feelings right at
Then he
this
tells
meeting.
us whether he wants it in open session.
You're still required to give him the written notice.
Okay, easy enough. We'll set it for executive session, we'll give him notice. Okay.
Mayor Marley?
Yes.
I've been informed by the attorney that it's okay for me to express my opinion at this point.
It's America.
Yeah.
So-
I'd welcome the opportunity to go through the review in an executive session with council.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And then we could do the other thing, too.
Excellent.
Point of order?
Mayor Marley?
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask what date, are we talking about two different dates? One to discuss goals, and then on May 13th to hold the evaluation?
Yes, ma'am. What I believe we are aiming for is 2 weeks from now, at our next meeting, we will review his past performance, and we will also, I believe, at that time, choose, I lost the piece of paper, I only have 300 pieces of paper up here. I lost the list of proposed goals for him for next year. I believe we will go over those goals and, all right, town managers' goals for 2014 to 2015 performance appraisal period. I believe we will do both of those at our next meeting, and then probably the meeting afterwards, assign to him those goals. I would imagine, would that,
That would be 2 weeks, would be the 22nd.
yeah, the 22nd would be when we review his last year's performance and assign him his new goals. Okay? We can do it all on the 22nd, I believe. Yes, ma'am, did you have something or no?
No, not that you're going, now, if you're going to assign him goals the same day, then no.
Okay.
Because I think it's 3 weeks till the next meeting after that.
Okay, easy enough. All right, if there's no further discussion, we will,
Move to adjourn?
we will schedule that date. We've scheduled it. I guess we don't have a vote on it, so we can have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.